Toastmasters TV. Tonight we have another episode of the Toastmasters TV interview. And tonight our topic will be about craft beer. As you probably know, craft beer now is a trend. All the countries are making it, cities have their own trends, their own brands, and we all want to know more about it. I know you have seen in the previous session some little things about craft beer, but tonight I am here with an expert, Tiago, who's going to offer us a bit more of an insight on how craft beer is made and what types of craft beer do we have. Good evening, Tiago. It's a pleasure to have you here. How did you end up in this craft beer business?
Thanks for inviting me, first of all. It's a big pleasure to be here representing my brand and talking about craft beer. Getting into the industry is quite it's quite a hook. Once you drink that beer, you're like hooked. It's hard to go back, there's a lot of, not so good beers that you drink and it's fine, but then once you drink that beer that changed your life, you're hooked. And then from there it took me a couple of years, I guess, to get into the industry, and there's no turning back, I guess.
All right, but do you have to have training on beer making, or is it something you can learn from books, from watching YouTube, or from just your co-workers?
It's kind of a mix of everything. The first thing is you need to drink beer, you need to know beer. You kind of, before everything, you get there and you drink all kind of beers because you're super excited to learn more. And then it's kind of a transition to actually getting into brew beer. You got a friend that is brewing beer at home and you're like, what do you mean you really brew beer at home? And you kind of want to learn from there. So either you go to a friend's house and you learn, or you go into books, but there's a lot of information everywhere.
All right, but if we can get some information from you, the expert, imagine that I want to go back home and just start brewing my own beer, and I really don't know how the process works, so could you summarize it in a few very simple baby steps? How do you go from no beer until you have a bottle of beer at home?
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's two phases of the process. One of them, it's basically cooking. It's like cooking. You take an afternoon on your Sunday and you spend about 3, 4, 5 years cooking beer, which goes through a certain process with temperature and cleaning stuff, but it's kind of cooking. And then besides that, there's about a month of fermentation. Usually you just get a white bucket, a plastic bucket to ferment beer at home, and that's pretty much that. So there's these two phases. It's quite easy to actually learn how to brew beer at home, and yeah, it's exciting because you're expecting your beer to ferment, and you're excited because you see it bubbling and things are happening. It's cool. You should try it.
Yeah, so you're all encouraged to try it back at home. I see you brought us 3 beers from your brand. Could you talk a little bit more about each one of them? What is particular about them? What is the one that the people usually prefer? Can you explain us the differences and how they taste?
Sure, I mean, these are 3 different styles of beers. I'll probably start with the first one. This is a blonde ale. And a blonde ale, it's kind of a beer that it's a little bit sweet, but it's not very aggressive. So it's probably the first beer that you want to try if you're trying to get into craft beer. There's some honey flavor kind of flavors. And then either you go to the dark side or you go to the light side. Galaxy, it's a milk stout, so it's a beer that it's actually made besides the barley and water and hops and yeast. There's lactose on that. That's what makes it milk stout. You could also have chocolate. In this case, it doesn't, but it tastes like chocolate. So it's kind of like chocolate, coffee, kind of dessert kind of beer. And lastly, there's Metropolitan, which could be more of advanced kind of drinker, because it's a little bit more bitter. There's floral and some bitterness from the hops. So it's a little bit different. And you don't have to like all of them, or you might just like one, or you might like all of them. So that's what's cool about craft beer, is that you actually have a lot of flavors. And if you don't like one, it's cool, because for sure there's always a beer for you.
And which one do you like the most from those ones?
I'm more into American pale ales and stuff, more into bitter and fruity and kind of more eccentric beers, because that's what we're looking for when brewing beer, and that's my kind of beer, yeah.
So for people who have never tried craft beer, or those people that we all have, our friends that say, I really don't like beer, which kind of beer should they start with, and where should we direct them while tasting beer? Do you have any tips on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't go with this beer. I mean, if someone is trying to get someone into beer, there's plenty of bars actually in Lisbon. Nearby there's one craft corner. There's plenty of options, and it just goes for the most weird beer. Like usually it's like fruity, like with real fruit, or like sour. So that person that usually doesn't like beer is gonna be like, oh, that doesn't taste like beer. And it's an unlimited kind of flavors that you can get, being that, you know, like chocolate or like just fruits or just having something sour, just completely out of the ordinary. And that's, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a beer for everyone.
And now you've mentioned tasting as well. I imagine you have tasted a lot of them, because you said at the beginning that for a good starting craft beer you have to drink a lot of different beers to know. What was the weirdest kind of beer that you have tasted while you were doing this research for yourself?
Sure. I actually tried a beer not a long time ago, like about a year ago in Brussels, and it was brewed by a brewery in Iceland, and they basically used sheep shit. So there was sheep shit in the beer, and it you know, like it's kind of weird. You go there like you know what you're going for. It tastes like smoked, and I don't know, like the emotion that you're feeling. It's quite weird, but it's an experiment, and it's kind of, there's no boundaries, there's no limits on the craft beer. That's what makes it really cool.
And talking about also no boundaries, what is the weirdest situation that you had while, especially while you were learning how to brew beer? Was there any particular situation that you remember while being at home or trying to set your own things at home that was particularly funny or different?
I don't know. I don't think that usually you got like bottles exploding in your cupboard and that kind of things. I don't really think, I don't know, like maybe my girlfriend just looking at me and I was staring at the airlock bubbling and just, you know, like enjoying like fermentation, kind of understanding what it is and being kind of weird. So I was spending more time with the bucket of beer than with her. No, I don't know, like it's, I don't think they happen something specific, but yeah, usually exploding bottles and that kind of things, it's what happens.
And what are your plans for the next few years on craft beer? Do you want to keep on developing new ones and trying to experiment new things, or would you like to keep on more developing the things that you already have?
I think it's more into like getting to experiments, because you know, like it's important as a business. You need to, you know, brew these kind of beers, so that's the beer that most people go for. But then you also want to make like a whiskey barrel aged triple that, you know, it's very eccentric. Not everyone is gonna like, but that's something that for some people that will like it, they will love it, and then that's the kind of beer that you actually take away and like you just export and that kind of things, and that's nice. That's what makes you, you know, go to festivals and that kind of things outside.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned festivals, aside from showing your product and bringing it to foreign countries, what do you do there besides showing your product? Do you learn? Do you have an opportunity to learn and to taste other beers or to learn new techniques to experiment new flavors? Or is it more for showing the product?
I think it's a mix of both. More than anything, you don't go there and like have workshops or kind of things. More than anything, you go there and learn with other people talking about, I mean, tasting other people beer, and usually you got the brewers there, so you actually can ask like, how did you make this beer? And you actually get to learn that. But I mean, going to festivals for me especially, I love that. Like there's an environment that it's unique. It's an industry that it's unique. How easy it is to connect with other brewers. So it's yeah, go there and drink. And while you actually give, you know, people to try your beer, but like more than anything is about living the industry. Being in a festival is more than just, you know, presenting or showcasing your beer. There's more, that's something unique, and you can only feel it going there.
Alright, just to finish, what kind of advice would you give to a skeptical person in the audience that is still looking at craft beer as something they're very doubtful about trying?
I'll pay your pint. I guess that's it's about going there and just, you know, that's not something very gourmet or something like that. It's not like that. It's something that you should drink like anytime, anywhere. And you can only convince people that are skeptical. Just come there and actually paying the first pint, and then maybe you'll get hooked. Maybe you will not. But at least I made my part. I guess that's it. Yeah, just go there and show what's craft beer.
Thank you very much, Tiago, for joining us tonight.